welcome back to this video. And in this video, we shall look at the basic introduction to chemistry. That is, we'll look at the introduction to chemistry or the first topic in chemistry. By the end of this video, we must be able to, number one, describe what chemistry is. Number two, classify the branches of chemistry. Number three, explain the importance of chemistry. Number four, describe the challenges faced by these chemical industries. And finally, we must be able to demonstrate an appreciation of the safety in the lab. Now, chemistry is a branch of science that deals with how chemical reactions take place, or it is the study of matter and the changes that it undergoes. But basically, you won't be asked such a question in an exam. So, what is to be known next? What is to be known next is the branches of chemistry. Now you find out that when you're studying chemistry, you have different sections, or it explains different sections. So those different sections which chemistry explained are referred to as the branches of chemistry. And the first branch of chemistry is called analytical chemistry. The term analyze means find out, do an experiment, get the result, and then give us your hypothesis. That is what to analyze is. So analytical chemistry deals with research. It deals with finding out what caused the problem. Or for example, if you're looking at a chemical, it is about finding out or making the chemical. So it is about analyzing what something is made up of. Number two, we have what is called biochemistry. Biochemistry is also a branch of chemistry that focuses on the biology of chemistry, from the word biochemistry. So this one describes how chemical reactions take place inside a living organism. Number three, we have what is called physical chemistry. Physical chemistry applies physics principles to what? To chemistry. It relates the two, physics and chemistry. For example, you exploring why oil is so slippery would be an example of physical chemistry, because you are looking at the physics that is happening in chemistry. And then we have what is called organic chemistry. Now, whenever in chemistry you hear of the word organic, the first thing that must come into your mind is the element carbon. Organic chemistry is a type of chemistry that deals with carbon containing compounds. For example, plastic or polystyrene. Then we have number five, which is inorganic chemistry. Inorganic chemistry, being the opposite of what? Of chemistry, deals with the study of compounds or elements that do not contain what? Carbon. And then to add on to this, we can have something like pure chemistry. So pure chemistry can be closely related to analytical chemistry, because it also deals with research or analyzing what something is made up of. Yes. So these are what are the branches of chemistry and what they mean. Let us proceed with looking at what else do we have there? Explaining the importance of chemistry. Why is chemistry important? Now you can't be studying something of which its importance you don't know. So I will look at the importances of chemistry, or how chemistry is useful in our day-to-day lives. Now, chemistry is different. Is important in different sections of our lives. It can be home, it can be industry, it can also be in the agricultural sector. So, how do we use chemistry in homes? Chemistry in homes is used in cooking. and making cosmetics. Now, how does chemistry help in cooking in homes? You'll find that as you are cooking, if you put water on the stove and it's boiling, already you have chemistry there because you have things like evaporation and so on. And also, you'll find that when you want to make water clean for drinking, you add things like chlorine, right? Apart from that, you'll find that if you're living in the village and then you go and fetch water from a stream, you wait for the dust to settle down, which is sedimentation, sedimentation as well. So, which is also a use of chemistry. Then, how do we use chemistry in the industry? Chemistry in the industry has got a lot of uses. Among them is making plastics. Plastics, we have mining as well. We have production of gases, hydrogen gas, carbon dioxide, etc. Apart from that, we have production of medicine. They produce medicine in the industry as well. Apart from that, this chemistry in the industry can also be used in building. When you're building, you need things like cement, of which for you to produce cement, you needed chemicals that came from what? From chemistry. Finally, it is used in the agriculture sector to make number one, medicine and food for livestock. So those living things that you are keeping on the farm, for example, pigs, um, or any other living thing, need to eat. They need food. So you can use chemistry to produce those foods like feed, for example, and also medicine for them to take, and then you be for them to be okay or away from infections. Apart from that, it is used to make pesticides and herbicides. We know that pesticides are used to control what? Pests. And this is used particularly for what? For plants. Apart from that, in agriculture, this chemistry is also used to make fertilizers. We know that we have natural fertilizers, but we also have artificial, which will make our plants to grow what? At a much faster rate. So this chemistry can have a broader importance than what I've listed, but this can be a startup. So I want to give you a task to go and find out more importances of this chemistry in these different sectors. Let's move on to our next objective, which is describing the challenges that are faced by these industries. Now, despite chemistry having an importance, these industries that produce these goods and services that we use in chemistry uh, will have a lot of issues. Like, for example, the biggest issue will be pollution, contamination of the environment. For example, we'll have land pollution. Land pollution, we also have what? Water pollution. Water pollution, we also have air pollution. Aside from this type of pollution will also lead to what? Greenhouse effect. This greenhouse effect will lead to what? Global warming. So, in a nutshell, these are what the challenges that are faced by these industries. How so? If you are looking at land pollution, for example, when goods are produced, especially those that are packaged in what? In plastics, those plastics will be thrown away and then they will loiter the what? The environment. So already it's causing what? Land pollution. Apart from that, you have things like mining. As as you are mining, you are destroying the land as well, which you cannot use data to do what? To plant crops. Aside from that, if you plant crops and you add too much fertilizer coming from what? From chemistry, it may also destroy the soil. So yes, that is how it may lead to what? To land pollution. Water pollution can be caused as well when during mining some chemicals flow into what? Into the rivers due to rain, and then that will kill the what? The aquatic life and also cause what? Water pollution. Then air pollution significantly there will be produced when you are trying to um, clean the environment by burning those plastics and other products that are produced during production of a good. Or, for example, in factories, the smoke that comes out from the chimneys as well will lead to what? To air pollution. This air pollution will now lead to what is called greenhouse effect, which will lead to global warming. Now, let me explain these two terms. Greenhouse effect is a situation where toxic gases occupy the atmosphere. Let me illustrate this using this diagram. Now we know that the atmosphere contains what is called the ozone layer, which prevents direct sun rays from reaching us, which may otherwise cause cancer. So what will happen is that this is the atmosphere, and then you have your ozone layer. So these toxic gases, as they are being released, like carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, etc., what they will do is that they'll begin to make holes inside this ozone layer, which will do what? Which will be causing direct sun rays to reach our what? Our bodies, and it can cause spots and also sometimes cause cancer, and that may lead to death. So yes, and then by the way, an additional information is that Kawe um, has been polluted with lead due to what? Due to mining. And so some effects of lead are that it causes a person to have low capacity in terms of being intelligent. So yeah, it causes a retardation, mental retardation. So this is what is called greenhouse effect. Greenhouse effect is a situation whereby toxic gases fill up the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide, so these are the gases, they are filled up in the atmosphere. So those that filling up of toxic gases in the atmosphere is a term that we refer to as greenhouse effect or the greenhouse gases. So whenever you're asked to say what is greenhouse effect, this is a situation where toxic gases fill up the atmosphere. So, how does this greenhouse effect now lead to global warming? So, when these gases are filled up there, the rays from the sun will reach the earth, and then instead of escaping back into the atmosphere, they will be trapped here. So, it's like heat is entering the earth, but it's failing to escape. So, as time goes on, this causes the globe to become warmer and warmer, and hence the term global warming. The globe becomes warm. So the globe becomes warm because this heat is failing to escape back into the atmosphere. And then these human activities like burning also increase this what? This rate at which the globe is warming, and also burning of fuels. For example, during when you put petrol in the car and then it starts burning, it releases a lot of what? A lot of toxic gases like lead into the atmosphere, which will also lead to global warming. So yeah, global warming is a situation where the globe begins to warm up more and more due to greenhouse effect and heat failing to escape back into the atmosphere. Let us close up this video by looking at what are some of the precautions you must take when working in a lab. Because remember, for you to study chemistry, you are yourself a chemist. A chemist is a person who is able to carry out a research in the lab, take experiments, and do his hypothesis, and then also give you the results, right? So, what are some of the things you must consider when working in a lab? So among them, there are a lot of different precautions in the lab. I would want you to check out more, but I will list out about only five. The first thing is do not eat or drink anything in the lab. Now, the reason they do this is because you may think as if you have salt on the table, but instead it's an acid. So when you lick it, it will do what? It will corrode your tongue and also make you have different complications. So that is why it is not advisable to what? To eat or drink in the lab. Then during an emergency in the lab, you do not run to the exit. You walk calmly to the exit. So that's another safety rule. Walk calmly to the exit during an emergency instead of running. Number three is do not spill your leftover chemicals from your experiment in the what in the sink. No, you must wait for your supervisor to guide you on how you dispose of those chemicals. Why? Because you may be dealing with radioactive substances. So when you pour them in the sink there, they may not go uh, fully, and so may cause a person who comes in next to inhale those what? Those radioactive substances, and that may lead to that person having complications like cancer and so on. Apart from that, you do not run in the lab. You do not run. Do not run in the what? In the lab. So I've given you a summary of these precautions, but they should be many. So I want you to check them out and yeah, know about at least 10